Thank you, Daniela. It is time for the headliner presented by Miller Lite. And let's bring in Tiger starting pitcher Matt Boyd. Matt, thanks for joining us on the headliner. Really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me on, Art.
Okay, I want to ask you start first off. I'm a lifelong Tiger fan. They're Detroit's oldest franchise, charter member of the American League, been around from 1901. So from 1901 all the way up to 2020, someone has started opening day for the Tigers. You're now part of that esteemed group. How does it feel?
Honored. I'm truly honored. It's surreal to think that. I'm growing up as a Seattle Mariners fan. You know, Obviously the Mariners franchise is not nearly as old or storied as the Tigers is, but you know you you always look at teams like the Tigers or the Yankees. These teams that have been around, charter members of the American League, teams that have been around, since the beginning of 1900s. And you go like it's the nostalgia, the tradition, everything that comes with it. It's special. So to be named an opening day starter, it's an honor. It's something I don't take lightly. Um, Kind of crazy to think about it. But man, I'm so thankful. I'm just so thankful for this team and this franchise and the city, for letting me be a part of it these last 6 years. And it's been a lot of fun, and I'm excited for it. Excited for Friday and to go represent the Old English D, and we all are as a squad. We're ready to go take on this thing.
The thing that I really like about you, and you had a lot of great quotes, and you're certainly a very humble young man. But with that said, you visualize this. You said, I don't want to sound arrogant, but I always thought I would be in this position. And then you harken back to your days at Oregon State, where you're thrown out of the bullpen for your college baseball team. And here you are starting for the Detroit Tigers. Can you talk about, I don't know if it's a positive frame of mind or that confidence where you always knew, as humble as you are, that you would be on, as you like to say, the bump Friday night in Cincinnati starting for the Tigers?
I mean, it's. I wish I could say it's my own doing, but it's the Lord. He's given me those things. He shows you things and he calls you to certain things, and that calling. Once you start to understand what that calling is, then it's like, okay, well, this is my path. I'm gonna just go down this. I don't. Sometimes what it's easy to see. Well, it's easy to believe what's seen, but it's believing in what isn't seen is really what sets you apart and is what he calls you to. And I mean, you go back to Oregon State, and it's like, man, I know I'm going to be pitching on the bump as a starting pitcher in Omaha, and I'm going to go do it. And senior year, we got to do that, and freshman year, we're sitting there and we're losing at Florida in the regionals. We're 9 wins away from that, which is a lifetime away from that. But I'm like, no, I knew we were going to be there one day, and I know we're gonna lift a World Series trophy in this town. And I believe it. I believe it in my heart, and it's just knowing that. And there's lots of times where it doesn't look clear. When you have a 6.5 ERA in New Hampshire or 6.5 ERA in the big leagues, or somewhere in between there, you just know that, hey, I know what I'm called to, and that's just I'm called to just be a starting pitcher in Major League Baseball or in the pitch, and I'm gonna attack that day at a time. I don't know where that's gonna end up. I don't know, when some of these things happen, but I know that I like, man, some exciting things are gonna happen, and I'm just thankful for this opportunity. I'm really truly grateful. It's not me alone. It's the people that have poured into me. You know, in every kind of facet of life, whether it's a coach or my wife at home. My father. Mom. Everybody has. But I'm thankful for it, and I believe that the best days in Tiger baseball are ahead of us, and I'm excited for it, and I can't wait for it to happen.
Can you describe the feeling and the emotion of this Tigers team? And I would imagine when you face adversity, when the game's over, before they let all the media or whatever, and it's just you guys in the room, so to speak, kind of like looking at each other and
Yeah.
thinking, hey, this has got to stop. I mean, is that where it comes from?
Well, yeah, it does. I mean, you can even say you go back to the last few years, um, and there were some of those years where we just sat there and we'd show up to the park and not believing anything. That wasn't last year. We would go, I don't know how we're going to win this game. But last year we showed up every single day, and we had guys that were doing everything they can to win a ball game. We had guys playing out of position because we had injuries. We had so many injuries last year as well. Guys were doing everything they could to to win. Right? They were being selfless in that stint. I mean, Nico Goodrum played all over the field. Brandon Dixon played all over the field. These guys were doing everything they could. Um, and unfortunately, we were at the other end of the wrong end of the beatings. But when we got done, we always knew, like, we put our best foot forward today. And you know what? Like, we're close. We know we are. Like, this sucks today, but we're close. We're going to show up tomorrow ready to win. And that was pretty cool about our team last year. I know it was probably the worst statistical team in terms of record that came out of it. But record doesn't always show what's going on. So, we're excited for this season. We're excited to get out there and compete. And, when you're going through it together, it's gonna make that being on top, going through it together, a lot of fun. So we know that day is coming, and we're expecting it, and we're just gonna keep fighting for it.
When you look at this team, obviously everyone's excited about the young Tiger Arms. Heck, I had Casey Mize on a couple of weeks ago, and I'm looking at Mize and Screwball and Manning and Faedo, and I'm thinking the Braves of the '80s or something. You're a starting pitcher. Obviously, you want to be the number one guy here in Detroit for many, many years. I understand that. Not difficult, but you just show. I just said how much of a leader you are. What do you see in this young pitching staff, and because you're more than willing to give them any kind of tips or anything. How excited are you for this young staff?
Man, I'm excited. I'm sure in any other kind of world that we were living in, except this COVID one, it might be up this year. But that's not the world we live in. So it's probably it's exciting to see where they're at. It's exciting to see how I learn from them. I just got to watch. I've been paired up with Casey Mize over this camp, and yesterday we had to finish up because of the rain came. We finished up in the batting cages for our game, and so I got to sit right behind the net. And man, I tell you, if I had his stuff, I'd throw mine away. And when it comes to pitching arsenal, he's so immensely talented. I mean, and so are Alex and Scoobs, and obviously those guys haven't been with us yet, and so are Matt Manning. Maddie's been here, but all those guys are immensely talented, and I know that being in camp, whether it's spring or right now, competition breeds success, and they've fed off it, and they've pushed other guys to become better players too. So it's exciting to know that they're close. We're going to be a better ball club, when they're ready to come up. We know that as it works with any prospect, right? That's the goal, is that someone's coming up because they're ready and they're going to make us better. That's why they're on the team. So we're excited for them. I know their time is close and it's soon. Hopefully it's sooner than later because watching some of these guys pitch, man, it's impressive and it's exciting.
Yeah, when you look at a 60-game schedule, anything can happen as we've talked about. The one thing that's impressed me during these inter squad games, I'm thinking inter squad games, buddies playing against buddies. I mean, maybe there's a case of beer on the line or something for the winning team. What kind of incentive is there? I have been completely impressed by the competitiveness and the way you guys are going after each other. I guess based on the junkyard dog mentality, I should not be surprised by that, right? I mean, this is a team that's very, very serious, and when they get, get on that diamond, they're all business.
Yeah, and that's it's kind of been the fun thing about it, is that and guys are hungry. Guys want to get after each other, and it's in the best way. It's making everybody better. So it's really exciting. It's been a lot of fun, and man, I give credit to our coaching staff for kind of creating that culture and allowing us to just go forward in it.
When you look at this team and you look at your year last year, you started off really, really well, had a kind of a rough second half, still sixth in the league in strikeouts. Where do you think it went a little bit off the rails last year for you, and how have you addressed that in this offseason? Because I know that you're working tirelessly to be the best you can be.
Yeah. Well, there's lots of aspects that go in. to kind of that number column, right? Some of it's a lot of it's out of your control. Some of it is. There was some off the field stuff that happened last year just with our family. We welcomed in our beautiful baby boy, Isaiah, who's about to turn a year old now, which is crazy to think about. Um, and with that, we lost my grandfather at the end of the year last year. Right after he right after our little guy was born. So we had some crazy stuff going on there. That's no excuse, but I'd like to think, being completely honest, I probably should have been, I'm doing a disservice that there's not 100% of Matthew Boyd on the mound. And there were probably times last year where I wasn't completely where my feet were. And that's no one to blame but myself. And I know I can get better in that. On the skill side of things, there's lots of things that also can get better. I got very one-sided, one-dimensional, if you will, with my pitch calling. I was commanding my fastball on my glove side a lot, really, really well, and my slider was a really, really developed into a great weapon for me. With that, there's also some things that, if I get one-sided, I'm going to face a lot of right-handers. And when I start to throw consistently in and a slider that's breaking into their barrel, well, it's going to be feast or famine time, right? A lot of the problem with a
Hmm.
lot of the runs that were created were from home runs. And that was really my downfall. I think I was second in the league in home runs allowed. Um, Now with adjustments that are, I know that I can command my fastball down and away. So it's not a measure of if I can do it. It's a measure of doing it more. So that became a focal point. Like, okay, let's establish the heater away as well. I have a changeup and a curveball that were kind of underutilized. Let's use the changeup a little more. And I kind of reworked my curveball a little bit. Got the metrics to be a little bit different on it by messing with the grip and release, and it made it a lot sharper. So now that's going to be another weapon that's more of a 12-6 motion as compared
Hmm.
to that slider that's going to be working into the barrel. Curveball goes up and down, and you couple that with the changeup that's going to go away from a right-handed hitter. So I like to think with those adjustments, and now with pitch calling using all four, it's going to open up things for me a little bit more. Guys can still hit home runs. I might still give up 39 home runs, right? A lot of it's out of my control. They could go hit my perfect pitch and hit them out. But the part that I can't control is understanding, hey, I can change up this pitch calling a little bit. I can command my fastball to the other side of the plate, and I can also use my curveball and my changeup in addition to my slider and my fastball, which are very effective. With those things, hopefully that'll make things a little bit better. But then again, though, right? So much is out of your control that it's going, okay, it's knowing I've done all the work. This is my game plan. I trust it. Now I'm going to go forward with it and go full tilt with it. So we're excited about what's going to happen this year. I'm excited about those changes in my game, and it's baseball's adapting game by game. So we'll do it game by game, pitch by pitch.
Well, first of all, I mean, no excuse is necessary. I mean, sometimes life gets in the way of what we love doing. Sometimes you have to refocus, and there's, you should, hey, congratulations, obviously, on the birth, and hey, we've all lost family members, and it's difficult. It's not a good, it's not easy,
Well, thank
So,
you. It's just
no,
some of that's,
seriously, I mean,
no, I appreciate that. Art. But some of it's hindsight, right? In the moment, I wouldn't have told you that, but you look back and you go, man, I like where I'm at right now, where my feet are right now. Now I'm starting to realize, was I really like that a week ago? Was I really like that a month ago? And it's going,
yeah,
and that's what you learn from, right? You have to you have to very, objectively look at that and say, okay, um, things are going to happen in life. That's inevitable. Death happens.
right.
Other things are going to happen in life. My basement could flood out right before a game and everything. You know what I mean. So, God forbid anything like that happen, but crazy things happen, and they're going to continue to happen. But it's how you adapt in that, and how you are able to actually look at yourself in that, and be have the awareness to say, man, I'm flawed in this sense. I can be better here, or I can be better over here. That's how you're going to grow forward, and whether it's life, whether it's baseball, or anything in between. So, it was a learning experience for me. I'd like to think if the situation happens again, I'll do some things differently. But I'm grateful for everything that has happened. My grandfather's in a better place, and man, I got a great little baby boy that's just so much joy. He's already given his bigger sisters a hard time, so it's a lot of fun.
What the heck do you expect Friday night against the Reds?
We're going to go out there and compete one pitch at a time. We don't know what's going to happen, but we know what we're going to do. We know what we've prepared for. And we're going to go do that. And, you know, knowing what you expect of yourself, and doing that consistently, usually winning and success, how the world defines it, is a symptom of that. So we're going out there and we're going to go attack and, go do our thing, compete one pitch at a time and play Tiger baseball, and ready to go get after it.
The Kingdom Home Foundation, talk about the genesis of that and where you're at right now, and if fans want to get involved or if they can help, because I'm sure they certainly would like to. It's such a great cause.
Yeah. So my wife and I started a nonprofit. It's called Kingdom Home. Our goal is to end child sex trafficking, child sex slavery through prevention. Our goal is to get to the children who are at risk. There's a large criteria that determines a child who's at risk, and get to those children and then bring them into a home where they can have 3 meals a day. It's not an orphanage; it's a home. They'll have house parents, aunties, a mom if they're boys, it's a dad, and uncles, and they get to live as a family with brothers and sisters. It's pretty cool. These children now get to go to school. They get to choose what they want to do in life instead of be forced into something that they don't want to do. And our goal is to either give them vocational training or pay for university down the road when that comes to it. So right now there's 156 children under Kingdom Home's care, in over 4 homes. And we over this last year, we've kind of slowed down in terms of the timeline based on kind of what's going on in our world. But we've bought land, and now we've started construction on our first home. So we're raising money to build these permanent homes. Right now we're renting. There's a beautiful piece of land. It's got a river right next to it, down in Uganda. So if you want to give, kingdomhome.org is our website. You can sponsor a child on there or look at any of the current projects that are within there and give towards a direct project. And man, it's pretty special what's going on there in Uganda. We got there's some awesome people that are involved, and it's a lot of fun.
To have a player like you wear my team's uniform, to wear that Old English D, it doesn't get any better. I can't tell you how it makes me proud that guys like you are Tigers. Let's just put it that way. Continued success. Good luck this season and wherever your path takes you, because I know that you've got a lot of things that you're going to accomplish in your life there, Matt Boyd. Thank you very, very much for joining us on the Headliner.
Thank you, Art.
All right, that'll do it. Daniela, there he is, Matt Boyd, starting pitcher for the Detroit Tigers. That'll do it for this edition of the Headliner, brought to you by Miller Lite. It is the original light beer. It tastes great. It's only 96 calories, and it's available for delivery. Back to you, Daniela.